What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. Today is April 24th, 2021. We are just 5 days away from the NFL Draft. In this video, I am continuing my series of doing a post-free agency semi-round mock draft for each NFL team. I literally just got finished doing a semi-round mock draft of the Washington football team, so make sure to go check that out. So like I said, I'm continuing the series, and the next pick is the 20th overall pick, and that belongs to the Chicago Bears. So here is the Chicago Bears post-free agency semi-round mock draft. Like all my mock draft videos, this comes from Pro Football Network's mock draft simulator. I cannot determine what players, are reaches or fall or anything like that. So here's the Bears post-free agency semi-round mock draft. Round one, I had them taking Minnesota wide receiver Rashad Bateman. I love this pick here. If Bateman's there, I think you got to take him. In the top 5 quarterbacks are going to drop to 20. There's reports that the Bears could trade up and get a quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen. Allen Robinson, he was franchise tagged by the Bears, so that means he only has 1 year on his contract. You need a replacement for Robinson because I really don't see him playing with Chicago after this season. I think Rashad Bateman could fill in great for Allen Robinson. Bateman will be a star in the NFL. Everybody talks about Jamar Chase, Waddle, Devontae Smith. I really think Rashad Bateman could end up being one of the best wide receivers when it's all said and done in this draft class. I really, really, really like this pick here in round one. Here I had them taking corner Aaron Robinson. They lost Farley they lost Fuller to free agency to the Denver Broncos, so they could really use some corner help. I think Aaron Robinson from UCF is a fantastic pick here. He's going to be one of the best corners available. This is, to me, it's a pretty good pick, though, because you need a corner because that's a team need because you lost Fuller. Great pick there by the Chicago Bears. As we continue on here in round 3, I have them taking a quarterback, and that is Florida Gators quarterback Kyle Trask. I would have had them taking Kellen Mond here, but he was actually unavailable. Trask, if you just watched my Washington football team episode, I also had them taking Trask. And I was saying, he reminds me so much of Derek Carr. Very limited athleticism. When it comes to, short passes, 10 yards or so, he's fantastic. But once it's 20 or more yards down the field, he's very inconsistent. And he also gets bailed out by talent quite often, like with playing with Kadarius Toney and Kyle Pitts. But if you're able to get Trask here and if he's there with the 83rd pick, I think you got to take him because, Trask could learn quite a bit of things from Nick Foles, who won a Super Bowl in Philadelphia, and also Andy Dalton, who was pretty successful with the Cincinnati Bengals. So I don't think Trask would be great with Chicago, but I think if he's there, you got to take him. Overall, I think that might be my favorite pick of this mock draft. The Chicago Bears do not have a 4th-round pick, so with their 5th-round pick, they select Florida State defense tackle Marvin Wilson. I do not think he'll be available here, but if he is, that's a A+ pick. Chicago, get more at your defensive line. I think Marvin Wilson could be a star in the NFL. I also like Darius Stills from West Virginia quite a bit, and Jalen Twyman from Pittsburgh. Then get any one of those defense tackles here around 5. That's a phenomenal pick for them. And this is a really, really, really good pick here for Chicago. As we continue here with round 6, they have so many 6th-round picks. Chicago definitely needs to try to trade up in a package, maybe, and get rid of 76-round picks because there's zero chance all these players make the team. With their first 6th-round pick, they select corner from LSU, Kerry Vincent Jr. Like I said, I had them getting a corner early in the draft in Aaron Robinson, but you could really use some more corner help by losing Fuller to the Broncos in free agency. And, he was easily your best corner. He's one of the better corners in the NFL. So even though you got Robinson in the 2nd, you could still use some corner depth, and that's why they got Vincent Jr. in the 6th round. Also in the 6th round, I had them taking Trey Walker from San Jose State. I like him a lot. The last 2 seasons on San Jose State, he's had 2,500 yards and 25 touchdowns. I think he's going to be really, really good, potentially, with the Bears. I think he's an extremely underrated wide receiver, and they really need some wide receiver help because, without Robinson, they really don't have anybody. I think Trey Walker could be a small school and late-round guy who could be very successful. in the NFL. With their next 6th-round pick, very similar. Jonathan Adams Jr. from Arkansas State. I like him a lot. Also a receiver. They take 3 wide receivers in this mock draft. But Allen Robinson, like I said, he's not going to be with the Bears, in my opinion, a year from now. So you have to find a future replacement. And, with them not having a 4th-round pick, it's going to be a lot harder for them to get a star wide receiver. I know they did get Bateman in the round 1. But some of these wide receivers, I know I had them drafting 3. But, Trey Walker and Jonathan Adams Jr., to me, you just can't pass up on those type of players because they're too good to go undrafted. So that's why I have Chicago taking them there. And with their last pick of the draft, their 4th, 6th-round pick, I had them taking Marshall offensive tackle Josh Ball. They could use a little bit more help at offensive tackle. Josh Ball is 6'5", 300 plus. He's absolutely massive offensive tackle, and I think this is a nice depth pickup for the Chicago Bears. So that was my Chicago Bears post-free agency 7th-round mock draft. I'll go over these picks here one more time. In round 1, Rashad Bateman. In round 2, Aaron Robinson. In round 3, quarterback Kyle Trask. They do not have a 4th-round pick, but in the 5th round, they select Florida State defensive tackle Marvin Wilson. They have 4 6th-round picks, and with those 6th-round picks, they select Kerry Vincent Jr., cornerback from LSU, Trey Walker, the wide receiver from San Jose State University, Jonathan Adams Jr., wide receiver from Arkansas State, and with the last pick of the draft, they select Marshall offensive tackle Josh Ball. Thank you all so much for listening. If you could like this video and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time on the Sports 200 Show.